Hi everybody, Russ on the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. Me again. If you're new here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it one of those bloody good subscribers. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. An extra little video today. We've got the David Moyes press conference. We've done the live Have You Say Fridays today as well. But there was a lot of news coming up last night, particularly, which in isolation, like one story here, one story there, not really newsworthy, but once you start putting them all together, you're thinking, there could be a bit of a seismic change in the West Ham squad. We know we signed 8 players in the summer. We know there's going to be a somewhat of a squad's revamp, a rehaul, but it seems that maybe January is a time when a lot of it's going to happen. We know that Moisey has said that in terms of new people coming in, he's really can only bring in new people if we let people go. And you know, we've spoken about potentially Vladimir Sufal going to Bayer Leverkusen. We've spoken about Craig Dawson wanting to maybe go back up north, and obviously that deal got cancelled, you know, in the summer. And depending on whether we get replacement, maybe he'll go to Wolves, but then Wolves got a new manager, so we don't know about that. We've got the whole thing around Ashby as well, and a few others. And there's been some reports that have happened in the last 24 hours. So I thought I'll produce the. It's almost an exodus. You know, I call it an exodus because it does seem like a bit like an exodus. There's definitely a changing of the guard, having obviously bought in 8 players in the summer. There was always going to be that case. There's a lot of players coming to the end of their contracts as well. So January's a good time to get a good bargain on players who are coming out of their contracts. And we'll start with Manuel Lanzini. Now, according to my favourite media outlet, Vlasic.net, I'm doing well today, Manu could end up leaving West Ham in January with River Plate on his tail, apparently. His contract comes at the end of this. It comes at the end of this. He's 29, and in the end of the summer, his contract with West Ham, his current contract, runs out. There's no indication or talks about extending that beyond the summer. As a result, River Plate, from his native Argentina, of course, are looking to put together a bid that would see him come home, make the pilgrimage back to Argentina, back to his homeland in January, rather than necessarily wait until the summer when arguably there'll be more competition for his signature. So the idea is trying to steal a march on him and get him at a cut price deal. Vlasic.net claim that West Ham would have to lower their asking price considerably, or even let him leave for nothing for 6 months before his contract expires. I don't think that's going to happen because actually, you know, to all intents and purposes, he has been a bit player this season. He's obviously featured heavily in the Europa Conference games. And in the cup games and stuff like that. But in terms of being a starter of the Premier League side, not necessarily. But as a squad player, I think he still has a job and a role he could fulfil. So I can't see them letting him go for free. But Moyes needs every penny he can get. But if River Plate come in with a decent offer, I can see them selling him in January to get the cash and line up a replacement. Obviously, Paqueta came in the summer and very much took his place, and you know Lanzini is surplus to requirements in terms of that Premier League squad, A squad, not the B squad, or you know, but he's not getting that game time. He's on the bench for the Premier League games, and obviously he's only getting occasional games for the conference. Obviously, there's no conference games until March. They could feature maybe for West Ham against Brentford tomorrow in the FA Cup. But I think also with Manu, he's got a young child, a baby, who is young enough to maybe relocate, so not getting too settled. So it might be an opportune time for him to leave. Obviously, if he doesn't leave in January, he'll be most likely leaving in the summer anyway when his contract expires. So that's one out potentially. Another out, we know it's going to happen really, is Nikola Vlasic, who's obviously currently on loan at Torino, and blazing a trail over there. But apparently the Torino technical director, David Vagnati, yeah, that'll do. Vagnati? No, it's Vagnati. It's got to be Vagnati. David Vagnati is in London, apparently, to wrap up a deal for Vlasic, according to a new report from La Stampa. It reports that that David is very keen on the deal to sign Vlasic. We know that's the case. They're interested in him. He's been playing really well on a loan spell, and he was apparently even in London on New Year's Eve to try and steal a march and get and negotiate a deal with the Hammers to sign the Croatian international on a permanent deal. Apparently, we've negotiated a purchase option of £13 million for him, or just under £13 million. Obviously, we signed him for reported, was it £29 million? So it's a hell of a fall from grace in terms of 16 million quid within a sort of a year and a bit. But apparently, he's also constructing a deal and a plan that would see us sign Sasa Lukic, the Serbian midfielder, which we've spoken about before, and we've obviously got interest in him apparently, and it remains to be seen whether the two deals go hand in hand or whether it's they're two separate deals. That makes sense. So we'll wait and see. But the Irons, obviously getting a replacement before allowing Vlasic to go, it could. Although Sasa Lukic is a very different type of player. He's very much in the sort of CDM type role where Vlasic is more of an attacking player. So again, we'll see what happens there. But again, could be another exodus in January. Another player gone. Also, we've had a few loans being cancelled recently. Some by the parent club, some by us, some by the actual club he's gone on loan to. We'll start with Paul Martha Masuaku. He will be reportedly returning back to West Ham as Besiktas are unwilling to keep him for the remainder of the season. They've currently got... And they currently have Arthur Masuaku and Dele Alli from Everton on loan for the remainder of the season. Both apparently loan deals are going to be cancelled, or they want to cancel them for the remainder of the season. Moisey obviously allowed Arthur to go to the Turkish Superliga side at the beginning of this campaign as he wasn't getting enough game time. He got injured, and the thought was he would then come back and be back at Rush Green. That didn't happen. He stayed in Turkey. Recovered from his injury, actually scored the winner at the weekend, and so a little bit of surprise that they're now cancelling the contract. He did actually have a clause in place to make the deal permanently if he made a number of appearances, so clearly they don't want that to happen, so they've let him go and come back to us. So according to the report, Masuaku has reached a mutual agreement with Besiktas to terminate the loan deal as long as Moyes and the West Ham hierarchy can accommodate the Besiktas request for the spell to end prematurely. If it does happen, Moisey will probably ship him out again, even if it means releasing him for nothing and maybe even paying up the remainder of his contract. It's a bit of a fall from grace from Arthur. I remember Moyes at the beginning of his second tenure had Arthur in the left wing back sort of position, and he was quite integral. So much so that I remember when he was on international duty and he came back injured and we were all like shitting ourselves because he was so central to everything we were doing. So it's very much a fall from grace. Besiktas at one point were our saviour in terms of taking Arthur off our hands, and he was playing quite well for them. But according to the latest reports, that's no longer the case. So again, another player out the door. And then we've recalled a few players on loan, and that was according to the official West Ham website. We've recalled 3 players back from their respective loans, and obviously we've already brought back, I think we brought back Joseph Anang already from Derby, I believe. That was a while ago. But according to the official website, Armstrong Okaflex has been recalled from his loan spell with Swansea. Okaflex was one of 3 academy players whose loan spell has been cut short and has returned back to the club. He linked up with Swansea for the start of the 22-23 season, featured in 17 fixtures in all competitions, including 13 within the Championship. So he's now back at West Ham. Also, Dan Chesters has come back from his League Two loan spell with Colchester United. Dan made 14 appearances for Colchester during a 5-month spell, including 2 assists, linking up with 2 former Hammers, friend of the channel Frank Newell and Freddie Sears. Blast in the past, but he's now back. And also finally is Thierry Neves from his loan spell at Newport County, this League Two side as well. I mean, he scored, what was it? He scored a goal. He provided 2 assists in 12 appearances for the Ironsides. That's their nickname. And so they've all come back. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen with them, whether they're going to be shipped out again, or whether they're going to be moved on potentially. There was talk of any offers coming in for them to be, again, on the list of people that we could potentially get rid of. The likes of Connor Coventry as well. We're looking at, him, he could be leaving. You've got the likes of, obviously, Craig Dawson, Vladimir Sufel. So there could be a lot of players, a lot of moving pieces in January. So the only way you can keep on top of it is by making sure you're subscribing to the West Ham Network, where we try and bring you all the news as soon as we get it. And so, obviously we haven't spoken about some people we've been linked with today. And actually we might do a little follow-up later on. But including the French international, Axel Disasi. Disasi. You say Disasi, I say Disasi. From Monaco, £40 million. Never going to happen, but apparently we'll be linked to him, and we compete with the likes of Man United and Tottenham. Not going to happen. But yeah, so there's always the rumours going around. But obviously, it seems very much so 1 in, 1 out policy at West Ham. But the exodus looks like it's beginning. My friends, make sure you keep an eye on the channel. We should have Irish Tommy on tonight, doing the Late Show of Irish Tommy. So if you're going to the pub, come back and have a chat with Irish Tommy about 10 o'clock onwards in the UK. We'll have all the previews and all that type of stuff and the watch-alongs for the Brentford game tomorrow. And that's it, my friends. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, stay positive, and I'll see you guys very, very, very soon. Ta-ta for now. Ta-ta for now, my friends. Bye-bye.
Thank you.